What's going on YouTube? FXDLS Brooklyn is back in the building, and have I got a story to tell you. So the ride started out just like any other. It was another morning in the 30s, and I started my lowrider ST and headed out to the meetup spot. We'd all been planning to do this ride for a while, and today was the day we were going to meet up and get some miles. So just when you think you hit level 60 in terms of your coolness factor with your stacked garage of Dynas and FXRs, a bigger fish is always going to come along and show you what's really up. And today, that big fish was none other than a 1982 FXR. Because what's cooler than an FXR? Well, a shovelhead FXR, of course. I hadn't seen my friend Wilson since the FXR jam back in June, and I was looking forward to catching up with him and getting some miles in. So on this day, most of the BQE was actually shut down after a small army of mutant rats had been running rampant in downtown Brooklyn. So FXR Wilson had no choice but to take a detour through the Stranglethorn Vale, which he found off of some random exit off of the Grand Central Parkway. His miles were mostly clear until he encountered some legendary blood god or something like that. He made it out alive, but not unscathed, as his 1982 FXR had been cursed in the encounter. This curse that Wilson had encountered was no joke, and if it couldn't be broken by sundown, his FXR would permanently lose 50 horsepower as well as 50 torque. Yeah, you might as well throw the bike out at that point. So legend has it that the V-twin prophet has been dwelling the south shore of Long Island for decades at this point, and would be the only one who could possibly offer any solution to break the curse. The sun was high in the sky, but this would only last so long as the winter days were rolling in. Getting Wilson to the South Shore would be a treacherous journey filled with calamity at every turn, and there was one, and only one, group of riders who could potentially see this treacherous journey through. Dylan. We had to be prepared for all situations, including riding fast in curves. With Dylan's new M8 Lowrider S, we knew we would have a bike on the team that would ride straight and true, as well as crush miles with a few tasteful upgrades, of course. Brandon, because no journey would be complete without a black Street Bob FXDB. If we were going to have any chance of winning this battle, you know we would need an FXDB on our side. Adam, Brandon's twin brother. He had spent the better part of last week rebuilding the motor of his Street Glide, and it was time to let it rip. The man in black. Because what's better than one black Dyna? Well, two black Dynas, of course. Vongasphalt has once again proven his worth in the harshest of riding conditions this season, riding through multiple blizzards in Northrend in search of the Ice-Crowned Citadel to finally confront the Lich King himself once and for all. If the wind chills are freezing and the ice is on the ground and the snow is falling, you could bet to hear Vongashphalt's exhaust coming through the distance. FXR Wilson. Coolest of the cool in terms of cool bike status. An excellent hand-painted leather jacket to go along with that as well. With a fresh paint job on the tins of his bike, even with a devastating curse, this bike was absolutely ready to rip even 4 decades later. FXDLS Brooklyn. The man who sold his soul many moons ago in exchange for true, unrelenting power, aka the Lowrider ST. Yeah, that's me. And I've been on the quest to retrieve my soul from the darkest of depths, but why the hell not stray from the path for a minute to help my friend Wilson out? This was the Cursed Six, a team of absolute mile-crushing psychopaths. All of us held titles for riding 1K in one day, as well as having multiple heavy bike trips under our belts. The morning air was in the low 30s, but after being briefed of the mission ahead, we all knew there was no turning back once we accepted this grim mission. We started at the usual gas station on the side of the BQE. We filled the bikes, we threw on a couple extra layers for the miles ahead, and discussed strategy as we pressed forward. As is the case with most rides out here, the Brooklyn and New York City miles were often the hardest. Dodging potholes and mutant rats, the day was already proving challenging with the wind chill well past freezing. Being riders based out of New York City, we were used to the curveballs that the road often threw our way out here. We blasted down the highway, wasting no time as we finally managed to escape New York City. With the combination of heavy leather, fairings, and heated gear, we made our way south with no regard for the freezing cold. The ride would take us well through the suburbs and into the backroad twisties, where the last of the leaves were starting to fall and give way to the long winter. We found ourselves riding along the water at some point, having to dodge the various attacks from the Leviathan that made passing through this area no easy feat. So here we are. We finally made it to the South Shore, and as was promised, the Prophet was there waiting. This guy was clearly the real deal. He had to be level 60 at this point, and it was pretty clear that he could see into the future. I mean, how else could he have known to buy his 2001 Dyna new back in one of the best years ever made? We had achieved our mission, and it was time to claim our reward. The Prophet provided the only thing on the market known to break this FXR's curse, and this was of course the 2-into-1 exhaust forged out of pure Arcanite. An extremely rare item, dare I say, even almost legendary. So that's it. The curse was broken and the mission was completed. At this point, we parted ways, knowing that one of the coolest bikes in existence was spared an ill fate on this day. Where would our next miles bring us? What new adventures would the frozen miles of another New York winter bring? None of us knew. But when the road threw its hardest challenges, the Curse 6 would once again ride. No nonsense, no excuses. Just hard and fast miles. So that wraps up this tale. Thanks for listening to our story. If you enjoyed this one, as always, take a moment to like and subscribe. We also have a Patreon for some deeper cuts and quests. As always, stay safe and stay low. Keep yourself curse-free this season. And on that, the Cursed 6 is out.